This is Mike Trueblood, sports editor of the Galesburg Register-Mail, and we're here again this week with Galesburg head basketball coach Mike Reynolds, as his team just came through a four-game win streak at the end of the Martin Luther King tournament. They're on a roll again as they head back into Western Big Six action on Friday night here against Quincy. So, Coach, that was something you kind of needed, kind of a pick-me-up and a get back on a roll after not a very good performance against Moline on Friday night. And how do you feel about the way the team responded and played?
Well, bounce back. I mean, certainly we needed to get back to doing things that have made us successful, playing defense, rebounding, not turning the ball over. And we were able to do that on, certainly Saturday against Minooka and Maine South, two suburban teams, that are a lot bigger schools than us, but, we were able to fight and be competitive and come out with two wins there. And then, some more local teams that we played on Monday in Peoria High, who's always has a different type of fast brand of basketball. And then, our old favorites, Dunlap, who we played a couple times down in Taylorville, and kind of a quirk in the schedule. So we had a good weekend, and it was nice to see some different guys step up and some of our mainstays get back to playing the way they're capable of. And overall, I think it was successful.
Well, after the Moline game, I think you tweaked your lineup a little bit, your starting lineup, your player rotation, and that seemed to really spark things for the weekend. How do you feel about how things worked with that?
Well, we just tried to get back to our basics. We wanted to get back to defense and rebounding and try to be overall just a little better at the start of the game. And we still had some slow starts, to be real honest with you. And, we're going to have to come out offensively with a little better attack against Quincy this week to be successful.
And one of the things maybe that kind of popped up with the kind of changes in the rotation and guys getting some playing time is a sophomore. Jalen McCants really came on, turned in a couple of really impressive performances, scoring and rebounding. What can you say about the things he did those last couple of games in the MLK?
Well, I mean, he was on the glass and he just played with a lot of energy. And I think he's at the point in his career, he's an energy guy. He needs to be a guy that comes off the bench and plays defense and rebounding and rebounds the ball well and tries to get a deflection and get a run out, start the fast break. And he can do a little bit of everything really well. And, he just needs to focus on that kind of stuff and let the game come to him. And I think he's done that for most of the part. And sometimes, at some point in your career, a light goes on and you start to figure out that you can be successful every time you walk out there. And the light went on this weekend, and hopefully it stays on.
Well, with that being said, return to the Western Big Six on Friday night. Quincy, how do you feel about them and facing them at this point in the season?
Well, I think they're really good. I mean, they've won 9 out of 10 games, and in the two games they lost, they didn't have their point guard. And they're a tough matchup because they have 3 or 4 guys that can score. They have an all-conference point guard, probably an all-conference shooting guard, and that makes it tough. They play zone defense, like Moline and UT have done, and like we saw a little bit over the weekend. So it's going to be tough. They really know how to play, and they play well on the road and at home. So we're going to have our work cut out for us for sure.
Well, thanks, Coach. Streaks are on a roll again, and getting Quincy at home. We hope the roll continues here on this homestand. So good luck Friday and the rest of the season.
All right, thank you.